Okay, so we're recording now, and this is Chase Swift, and I wanted to kind of reintroduce my sponsor, the person that told me about CFX, John Kinnear. John and I'll tell a little bit of my story just so you get a feeling. John and I met John through another opportunity, another project that was very Bitcoin focused and leverage focused, and so I was learning a lot. And John was just an amazing mentor, giving us great insight and training and helping us basically build business online. And then in late July, it was, I checked my back office in CashFX. I joined CashFX on July 28th. That was 13 days after the company started, after this project started. And so, John, I'm going to ask you a little bit of your story too. And maybe we'll do that first, but you have been involved in building leverage and building passive income for a good majority of your life, some 20, 25 years. And you've gotten really, well, you've mastered it, I have to say. And so the goal of earning a passive income is something you've been doing for a long time. And then you told me about this project, and you asked me that, you thought it would be interesting to me, is something to that effect. It was a very simple question. And I just had so much respect for you. I'd learned so much, and I'm like, it didn't even hesitate. And I don't even think I asked you one question. So it was probably the easiest thing you've ever done. But from that time, we're now a year after CashFX, over a year now. And this dialogue we want to have is just how things have changed. And if we were here a year ago, we wouldn't have near the story to share, near the results to share. It was kind of a really good idea that none of us really knew what was going to happen. But you have since worked with the owners, very close at hand with the company and all that. So that's really good. By the way, if you're not muted, I'm going to try to mute some of you out so we get a good recording. But talk to me about, we're going to start muting here. Talk to me a little bit more about, just as a reminder for the people here, your experience kind of in building a network marketing and online business. Give us, the folks here, a little sense of how you got going.
Certainly. First of all, thanks very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to see many of your faces again. I think most of you, we've had an opportunity to speak at least once before. Listen, I got to be straight with you, and some of you have probably heard this before. That there are a number of philosophers that follow under very early Greek philosophers that extol the benefits of knowing thyself, really understanding your strengths and understanding your weaknesses. And when you're moving through life, playing to areas that are perhaps going to make you grow at some phases in your life, and other areas where you're going to excel because you're working in areas that are playing right into your strengths. And I think that that's incredibly important in business. And the only way you start to know yourself, of course, is you need to be open to criticism. You also need to be open to compliments. A lot of people have a difficult time with that. And you need to have a variety of different experiences to understand where perhaps you shine and where you struggle. One of the things that I knew about myself at an early age is that I was a really lazy kid. And so I wasn't a bad kid. We would have gotten along. You would have liked me as a kid, but you would have said, boy, that John's a lazy kid. My parents probably had to work 5 or 6 times longer to get me to mow the lawn than it would have taken them to go mow the lawn. But they were determined to try to teach me some life lessons. And so if I was not focused on leveraging myself in the way that I earn, I'd say there's a better and average chance that I'd be living under the bridge down the street. It's just one of those things. I've always tried to be very tactical in my output, my energy output for work. And so, all joking aside, when the penny dropped and I really understood this concept of leveraging yourself in your time and other people's time, I have to admit that that became a focus of mine when I was working. And so the 25 years ago, I got started in network marketing. Listen, it would absolutely be not correct for me to tell you that I was working all 25 years. To say that I was working half of those would be a gross exaggeration. But I didn't need to, because I found a formula that worked for me, and it made me a lot of money. And I was able to help a lot of other people at the same time and impart some of those duplication skills and lessons to them as well. And many of them went on to create some significant success for themselves also. So while hard work is required, and I would always work hard at the beginning of a project, you really need to dig in and immerse yourself. Constant hard work and sacrifice is not, it can be replaced by systems if you allow that to happen. And so one of the things that I've always focused on is building systems-based businesses. And the reason for that is that if a system is simple enough and it's easy to teach, then people will teach it. People will walk through the process. They'll replicate your steps. But there's a few things that one needs to do as a sponsor to facilitate that. And we're not going to get into all that now, but I'm going to be putting together more detailed instructions on how to do exactly that in a really simple way, without a lot of experience in marketing or sales, and perhaps without any experience. In fact, I think that's the most important thing when you're sharing models with other people. Is it would be unfair to share a business strategy that required a really substantial amount of life experience and business experience and sales skills, because then you don't have a system that everyone can duplicate. You need something that anyone can step into with no experience and have a legitimate chance at freeing themselves financially. And so if companies didn't have one, I would always build one myself, and I would always use the same formula. So what I'll be sharing with you over the next couple of months, and I am going to be starting a contest in about a week's time. So I'll make sure that you know how to participate in that if that's something that you're interested in, because all of this information will be imparted to the participants during the course of that contest. So in regards to CFX, I was very fortunate that I had an opportunity to speak with Ron Pope via Justin. Justin and Ron are very good friends. And then ultimately to Oscar Lopez via Ron Pope. And to really get a sense of what these guys were working hard to accomplish, to get a sense of their capitalization, if they had the resources to pull off what they were attempting to pull off, if they had the experience to pull off what they were attempting to pull off. Because, we all know that the best laid plans in business don't mean much. Things can go sideways in a hurry. And the only thing that you really can insulate you from those types of challenges are you need to be properly capitalized. You can't be operating on a shoestring budget as a business owner. And you need to have life experience. Because if you're rolling into a project and you haven't reached any substantial goals, this is the project that you're going to hit your first home run with. You'll get all the support in the world from me, but I'm not going to be your business partner, because you're not aware of all the things that are going to go sideways during your journey. And I would much rather you connect with me after you've learned a few of those things, rather than me be along for the ride. And so that's kind of a policy of mine. And that's why generally I have to speak with owners directly. They're not going to tell you, they're not going to be straight with you. You have to sort of dig that information out and then do your own due diligence.
Well, and that's what you did. You were involved, as you mentioned, with the CEO, Waskar, and you even spent, it was in November, there was a launch event. So when you and I joined, you sent me the link, I joined. I really didn't pay much attention. There wasn't a whole lot to pay attention to, except there were some stunning results right off the bat from the trading. But then you had some time to spend with the owners at the launch event in Panama in November. So was that really, you had spoken with Ron Pope and Huascar, but that was another event to actually spend upwards of a week with Huascar again, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a lot of time that was spent then, and that was preceding the invitation from Huascar and Edwin to do some consulting with them on the marketing side. So it was a great opportunity to see them in action, to see also their character, though. The time that they invested with the people that were approaching them, all the time they were putting into that event behind the scenes. And for those individuals who were at that event, I mean, they were really serious about making an impression. So I saw some very strong characteristics in Huascar and Edwin both. I wish I could understand Edwin better, but he's a Spanish speaker, and I'm certainly not.
Mm-hmm.
But you could certainly see his passion, not only for Forex, but his passion for people. And so he and Huascar seemed to share that. And as I said before, both gentlemen have been significantly experienced with success in the past. And that was really important for me. Seeing, for example, how well versed Huascar was in the cryptocurrency trading space. And even though we are not a cryptocurrency trading platform, there obviously are some crossovers. Trading is trading. And the also seeing that while the guys were a lot of fun, they're also serious people. Because when we talk about a corporate staff managing millions of dollars in assets being traded, there has to be some serious individuals that are running that show. We just learned that $72 million so far has been paid out to members in our first year. And so you can only imagine how much capital is being traded, and that needs to be managed in a very serious way. So there are some things happening behind the scenes that I think would probably give you all much more of a vote of confidence. How many times Edwin has been flying to Europe to consult and make sure everything is structured exactly the way they want for copy trading, and for the launch of their EA 2.0, which won't be all at once, by the way. It will be a very gradual phased in launch, which is the proper way to do it. You don't want to put any unnecessary pressure on the developers or the software itself. You want to phase it in. So most of us won't know when it's being turned on and when it's being turned off and when it's being adjusted. We're just going to see a steady climb in our results.
That's terribly exciting. And I want to just back up some of that. You mentioned the word copy trading, and I want to back that up into layman's terms. Most of the people here, including yourself, John, have no interest in ever trading on the market themselves. And so let's kind of dig down to what is copy trading. I'll let you explain it because I could do it, but I'm gonna let you do that. What is copy trading?
So copy trading is very simply put, it's a strategy. Preliminary, it's a software. So this is a software that was developed, and many big brokers all around the world use this software, and it enables their members to go through a list of traders, and then they can connect their own private brokerage account to the master trader account. And anytime that master trader account is involved in a trade, then so is the other broker member as well. So you're copying their actions, but your capital is never leaving your own brokerage account.
Right. Well, that's important. So it's really the best of both worlds. You have your own investment, your own control, yet you're using the expertise of hopefully a trader that you know and well and trust. That would be CashFX for us. And whatever movement, whatever trade whatever action they initiate, it happens within milliseconds. It has to, otherwise there's too much time, there's too much delay. And so this will be a massive project to be able to do all this. But on the other point, it's going to be like, well, you could show someone, not that you have to, but you could show someone, this is my Forex trading account, and it's completely hands off. And you could see every movement, every trade, every purchase, every win and loss. There will be losses, but with CashFX, we see a very high success rate with the trades.
Yeah, we're seeing a high percentage of winners, which is fantastic. And of course, all of that information will be completely transparent for anyone who's doing or using the copy trading platform.
So to participate that, you'll have to have a CFX membership, and then the choice to do copy trading is an optional choice. But for some of us that might want to prove to ourselves that the trading is really done, it's an excellent opportunity. We might have some individuals that would do the copy trading. I think I might, although I don't know that members in the US with EverFX can open an account, so that may be a question. But there's some.
They'll just need to have multiple brokers that they use and are happy
Okay.
with the performance
Okay.
to facilitate other markets. Yeah.
Right. But in that case, a person that's copy trading will see every purchase of a trade and all the returns on that on a step-by-step basis. And so in a way, you're going to see exactly what many people want to see is like, how does this work? And does it work? Well, we will have that opportunity to actually see that for the members that do the copy trading. Now, not everyone has to do that, and most of you may not even question the fact that trades are happening, because we can see that in the back office. But the only thing we don't see is the actual trades that are happening. So that's truly a magnificent opportunity that is coming our way.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very strong feature. And of course, keep in mind as well that we are also speaking with the brokerage themselves about a quarterly report. I'm not sure when this will start, but this is some of the stuff that the principals of CFX want to assist members in making sure that they get all the transparency information that they want. And it's done in a really simple way that won't overwhelm the field with piles and piles of trade data that most people are just not interested in seeing.
Right, that's for sure. So kind of while on the topic, I know in the presentation that you give quite often, there's always a mention of how large the Forex market is. But I think a little point that we miss is how many individuals comprise that market in trading compared to the institutional users, the governments, and the banks. There's quite a disparity in the size of volume of trading compared to, let's say, the institutional. So maybe I'm not saying that well, but there's basically some 80 to 90 million traders, people like us sitting in front of their computers. They're not like us because they're literally picking and choosing when to trade and all that. 80 to 90 million, and that's very accurate, John. I mean, it's not a made-up number. It's something that you can check on, but that's a huge number of people that are actively trading in the Forex market.
Oh, it's a lot. It's an awful lot. And what's also very interesting is that the 80 to 90 million people, and you consider all the money in their accounts, some people thousands of dollars, you add those 80 to 90 million accounts together, and that's only representing roughly about 5% of daily volume.
Yeah, so you would think, wow, 80 to 90 million people, the market is kind of full, it's kind of saturated. Not even the case. As John just shared, it's 5% of the entire market, because the big banks and the big institution and big governments, those are the real players that trade in the Forex market. And so the point we really why do we make that point? It's not to show that, we're just a small fish in the pond, but what it means is we are in a market, an industry, or whatever you want to call it, that is not small in any way, and it'll allow a lot of growth. And we have some 45,000 members currently, and yet we're thinking, some might think, well, gosh, it's going to be saturated in no time. And there's just no substance to that at all. We have the largest market in the world, $5 trillion a day, and it's just a matter of trading it in the right way. And there's a lot of money to be made. and we can continue this for decades to be for sure, right?
Yeah, really. I think the challenges that will surface will simply be how various jurisdictions want us to be registered within those jurisdictions for participating, how members need to be positioned legally, and that's why all the money is going into legal teams, not only in the United States but in other markets as well, is being spent. So obviously, it's the job of the company to make sure that they're operating effectively in as many markets as they possibly can. So that'll be an ongoing process. That's not going to be something that has a start and a middle and an end. That'll always be happening.
Right. Gotcha. Well, I think that's an important part. And when I really think about it, that I'm staking so much of my future into CashFX and the Forex market, there's a lot of room for growth. And I plan to grow a lot and build teams and all that. But the point is, there is no limit to what we can do, both as individuals and as a project and a company working together. So that is really, it's probably the most exciting time I've ever had to share with other people, that we literally have an unlimited opportunity to earn, even as a customer, without sharing this with one person, or conversely, like many of you in this room, sharing this with a couple friends, or more seriously with seasoned networkers that know how to get the word out of a project that doesn't cost any money per month, and yet there's incredible rewards Monday through Friday, and you can share that and even magnify the growth and potential just by sharing it with a couple folks, because they can do the same. And so the power of leverage, I think, is missed by so many of us. Yet we travel around in a car that has a jack in case we ever get a flat tire. That is leverage, by the way, and we don't leave our car without a jack, because if we ever got a flat tire, we would use a jack, because we're never going to pick the car up. I think that's it's so exciting in so many ways. So yeah, that's just great. I'm going to move into kind of what I've spoken about in a little bit with some of you. Is John is creating a system, as he mentioned, and we've seen parts of that, and it's just been added to, but the CFX Success from Home website. So John always taught a very simple, duplicatable process that people could learn from and share. And you built teams that were significant. And this is back in the days when you used fax machines, I think, that you shared in the past. So what we have today is truly amazing. But the power of two things that the wealthy employ cannot be said enough, and that is the power of, and you said it in this new video that you just added, two words. One of them is automation, and the second one is leverage. Those two words, when you can combine those, will make you wealthy. And what the great thing is, we are all basically using automation, because CashFX does everything. None of us have to log in. We don't have to click on anything. We don't have to check our monthly order and make sure it's set up to come, because there isn't any. It's complete automation. And that is terribly exciting. So you get automation right off the bat when you join. The second part is the choice. And to really, truly be wealthy, which is just an option, you don't have to be, but that's the option of building leverage. And that's the power of telling one person, and that person, if they're interested, that can share it with another person. And that goes on and on. Typically, you hear three who can get 3 and 3, and you're like, well, that never happens. Well, I can assure you it happens a lot more with CashFX. I have a team that's growing like crazy. And I say that because it's never happened before. And I have Roger on the call and Christopher on the call. Both of you are excellent reasons why my success is so good. But these two words, John, we've never really, I mean, in your experience, we've never had automation and the power of leverage so easy to put together.
I mean, there's a lot of simple projects out there. Of course, the question is, are they simple and sustainable? And so if they're in the cryptocurrency trading space, of course, the answer is no, because simple is going to attract people and attract and grow. And unfortunately, what we've seen since 2016, which is a few years now, a lot of really sharp platforms launch, grow exponentially, and then just collapse under their own weight. So individuals that were putting a lot of stock, a lot of hope into the future of those platforms for their own well-being, unfortunately have been let down. And so, you know, there are a lot of moving pieces that need to be managed properly, and Forex is just one of those moving pieces. Of course, the fact that your trading technology needs to be straight up legitimate and needs to have a track record of success. The fact that this company started with a platform that was running for more than a year before the company launched is, I think it's very important. And yeah, as far as systemizing things go, Chase, it's not a terribly difficult thing to do, and it's certainly not difficult to learn. So we have all the pieces we need for everyone to do quite well with this platform.
Well, thank you. For some reason, I'm check my. It's very garbled for me, so I'm going to check it on my phone in a moment. But if you can hear me okay still.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. I got a question from Greg. He wanted to ask, what happens when you get 200% return on a 100K contract? And I know you have experience with that. And
yeah,
also,
same thing as everyone else, as every other trade package. You simply just rebuy a trade package. There's only one option at that point, obviously, but you don't need to catch it before 200%. You can wait till it hits 200% and do it. In fact, you can wait until both hits 200% and do it if you want.
Right. So we might just take a little moment here. I'm going to check my audio. It's still really garbled, so I'm going to check it on my phone. Greg, if that was not sufficiently answered, please unmute yourself and get any clarification with John. And I'm going to log on to my phone here too.
Yeah, I think the question was at that level or at any level. Let's say I have a $2,000 contract. I get to the 200% return. Mm-hmm. Can I keep it at that level if I don't want to upgrade? And then what's the process for doing that?
Yes, for sure you can. So anytime you want to, you can go into your back office at any point and you can hit that upgrade button. By the way, most of you have noticed by now that the upgrade button turns into a renew button. The language changes when you reach 200%. So upgrading is no longer an option. If you hit 200%, renewing is your option of choice. And then if you were on a 1K trade package, for example, you'd simply purchase another 1K trade package.
And does that impact then, if you do that instead of upgrade, any of the networking that you've done?
No.
Okay.
No.
Great.
To move through all the ranks, all that you need is 500 PVP, which is personal volume points, and 500 is a $1,000 trade package. So if you're on $1,000, you're meeting that part of the qualification for all your ranks anyway.
Okay. And then the other question I had, I've been involved in another network marketing business, and one of the things that was communicated strongly to us in terms of the United States was one of the key components of a legitimate business is that you not make money on the mere involvement of people.
Yes.
And so the piece of, I guess, if you could kind of explain how the 30% coming off of the package or off of the investment that you put in, how that's not viewed, or if it is, and that's part of the issue with getting set up in the United States right now.
Good question. No, it's not part of the issue. So if you think about sort of the old school legacy companies like Herbalife and USANA and Amway and New Skin, et cetera, someone gets involved in a platform from your recommendation and they purchase some products, no different than if they were purchasing on Amazon. And there's a profit built right into that sale that goes directly to you. So that's completely legal and legitimate. And CFX is actually structured exactly the same way as that. So there's no issue there at all. And that's why so much time and energy, money and resources expertise are being put into the development of the academy. So even though the academy is a digital product, not a physical product, it still meets those same trade requirements.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You bet.
John,
Yes.
you said about you only have to have 500 points, but
Yes.
of course, to the matrix, you have to have different packages to get paid down different levels.
Correct.
Now, is there was an exemption up until the end of July, I believe. Has that been
No, the exemption
extended?
is still on.
It's still on. How long is that going to be on for?
It would be great to be able to say until the end of time, but I don't know if that's true. I'm not sure.
Right.
I would think until around the end of August was the last number that I had heard Waskar say in a group presentation. I'm sure we'll be hearing pretty soon if that's going to be extended or if that's going to wrap up at the end of summer.
Thank you.
You bet.
My apologies. I have audio issues, so I had to scramble. But anyway, so I'm glad those questions were asked. That was
We
really
can't understand you now, Chase.
sorry now.
I'm just playing with you, dude. I can understand you fine.
I love it. I love it. So I'll turn on my camera here, and so let's see here. There was a question earlier about the relationship with EverFX. Apparently on the internet, they may not have the best reputation in some areas. Is there any concern you see with EverFX as a broker, either now or moving into the future? And I don't know if I'm answering or asking the question.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, is there any concern with EverFX leading us into the future, either now or into the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, one needs to understand when you're looking at broker reviews, if you spend enough time doing this, you're going to find negative reviews for every single broker that I'm not sure if that's me. If it is, I'll turn it off. Just give me one sec.
Could be me.
Okay. So as far as brokers go, now here's why you're going to get negative reviews. So I want you to imagine, for example, an environment that 85% of your customers that are working with you lose their money. So you're already in a pretty tense environment. And so there are so many different reasons why negative reviews show up, and whether they're on Reddit or whether they're on Trustpilot or dozens and dozens of other places for negative reviews to go. So it's important to know that all brokers are going to get them. It doesn't matter how good the broker is. Some brokers get a lot more than others. And you're certainly going to see, I was reading reviews from EverFX and some of them were horribly bad. But the good news, of course, is that we've had a fantastic experience with them as a company. And much of the broker company relationship has to develop over time. In fact, I was asking Waskar about their relationship with EverFX not too long ago. And they were very happy with the performance, not only of those guys, but also the role that they're playing in CFX adding more servers to ensure transaction speeds, like you were referring to earlier, Chase, and the role that they're playing in sort of the copy trading and how the copy trading platform needs to operate for it to be contributing to the CFX rewards plan. They've been very, very pleased with those guys. In fact, some of you may even have heard interviews of one of the regional VPs at our November event. And one day when we're allowed to host another event, we'll certainly have high-level representation from EverFX at one of those events as well.
Well, great. Well, that's really reassuring, because as we want to move forward and build our future, we got to have the assurance that it's going to be there and not fall apart. So thank you.
You bet.
One other thing I want to talk about is I want you to dispel the fact that people at the top always seem to make the most. and you have a referral that you joined, I think, about a couple days before I did, and that was Richard Mott. He has actually attained a level higher, has he not, than you are?
Yeah, well, Richard's a better person than I am. Don't forget that.
Okay. Well, he has good skills and he's very persistent, but he's actually attained a level of success within the company. They call it a president's club. Mm-hmm. And are you still a director, I would imagine? Or,
that's right.
Yeah. So that's, I love it when that happens, because then it shows that anybody can do whatever they put their mind to. And it's not always the people at the top, because he actually has more control and more income than you do.
Well, everybody does for their own business. I mean, they're all the captains of their own ship.
Yep. That's really exciting. So
Martin was someone that's within Richard's business, and he hit president a week before as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So that's really exciting that you're not just a pawn. You can actually control your destiny, or as you said, you're the captain of your ship. I really like that. So I have really come down, and I guess the last thing we can say is this is really a unique opportunity or unique project, in that we don't advertise it as being pandemic proof or coronavirus proof, but we're seeing a lot of incredible things happening and people's incomes going up and up and up when a lot of the world is going down and down and down. So John, and I know there are videos on the CFX Success from Home that kind of introduce that the world is really in a fix here. And just any closing comments that you have on how powerful or what we have can really change people's lives.
Well, I think that it's really sad to think how many people are struggling right now and how much uncertainty that there is in millions of families all around the world. So, the one thing that this global pandemic, of course, has shown us is that nobody is immune. No socioeconomic class is immune. No race is immune. No region is immune. And I just think it's really important for you to protect yourself and protect your family and protect the people that matter to you. So, of course, none of any of that has any effect on the global forex market. We will see some bumps along the road as market conditions change, but not with a market that size. You're not going to see any long-term negative effects. And of course, the proof is in the pudding, and we've managed to be profitable every day through the pandemic. Even though our profits have been reduced, we've still been profitable to an amount that I think most members are very happy with.
Right. Well, I agree. And so that's, I think, one of the reasons why things are going so well for me, pardon me, is we have a team that recognizes that. And I'm a freelance photographer. And so for now, photographers, especially wedding photographers or portrait photographers, they're seeing their income going right down the toilet. And I think we all recognize or know somebody, or we've all experienced a setback of some kind. Yet when I look at the project, when I log in and I see new members joining and I see new trade results that are just, it's remarkable. So John, I have to say, and I've said this before, but I wanted to thank you specifically for sharing with me 13 days after the company started, CashFX, that you had enough caring and thought that I would do well with this, that it would meet my needs. So I really want to thank you for that, because it has been an incredible year. And now we have this room with some 22 people, and there's 250 and growing that are not able to be here. So thank you for your persistence in sharing this with the globe. And it's just a breath of fresh air I can't even describe. So thank you.
Well, I'm very happy to assist. So I certainly wish the very best for all of you. And persistence obviously is the key. It doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be scary. It just needs to be consistent.
Right. Well, good. Any last minute thoughts, questions, ideas for John? He's been very gracious with his time. We want to keep it short, but if you have a question, now is the time. If you want to just unmute.
Or unmute yourself.
Yeah.
This is Brian in Hawaii.
Hey,
Can you
Brian.
take my question?
That's not
John,
a bad place to be stuck.
There's so many programs out there.
Yes.
Yeah. So many programs out there. Some look so promising. They have impressive websites. They have testimonials, the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
And they're gone 6-9 months, a year later.
Yeah.
Why, if you give me 3 bullet points as to why you chose this out of all the programs out there, what brought you to this one and compared to the others?
Sure.
'Cause I'm sure you looked at many.
Oh, I look at a lot. I look at everything that comes across my desk just as a courtesy to friends that bring it. I don't join them, but I look at them. I think first of all, you're giving the some of those platforms a lot of credit, maybe more than they deserve, Brian. Lasting a year is a big deal. A Ponzi scheme, for example, in this era, with so many people being gun shy and wanting to test if something's a Ponzi or not, they're always doing withdrawals. So those don't last longer than 3 to 6 months. 6 months is a stretch. So hitting a year for a platform is a really big deal. And so the 3 bullets, 3 key things that I would look at. Well, first, the first thing that I would look at is I would look at the legal aspect of the platform, how members are earning. So if they're being forced, for example, to break the law in the way that they earn, are you earning on trading gains of others versus earning on a product sale, a real product sale? So has the company taken the time to develop a product? So legal and product oriented. I'll give you 4. Corporate team, because I always insist on speaking with the corporate team, and then the industry with which the trading is taking place, if it is a trading based platform, because a lot of the projects are easy to stay away from. They're just a high interest or high yield rather programs, 2% a day type programs where there is no actual product. So they feed you some line of nonsense that they're launching a new exchange and you earn 2% a day somehow by keeping your assets in their exchange, which is just utter stupidity. But they grow. So I mean, you really have to analyze the story and see if it makes logical sense to you as well. So that's a little bit more than 3, but if I had to boil it down, it would be the industry, Brian. So Forex, for example, is an easy thing for me to understand and feel confident in. Corporate team and the legal structure of the company.
Great question.
Okay,
Brian, did that answer?
Thank you. Yes, it did. Thank you very much, John.
You bet.
Well, that was really good. I don't know if we can top that, but anyone else just want to say hi? Please do. This is a great chance to say hi at least.
Hi.
There you are, Roger.
I was on Richard Maud's due diligence call on Friday night last week.
Yeah.
When his voice gave out and he had to stop halfway through. And I had a guest on, but the guest joined. And then I was on the training the following day.
Yeah.
When it was announced why he lost his voice. And because I think it's been quite hard work, or they've been working rather long hours up to Friday night.
You're right. And don't forget, Roger, he's also been working quietly behind the scenes to be on the next Britain's Got Talent. And so he is not a singer, but he's been working hard to develop those skills.
Right. But one of the interesting things he said was he had got $10,000 for a month from his matrix.
Mm.
And he then went on about the thing about networkers building their business 3 by 3. And then he said, but Hazel just went wide, 48 wide. And he said, I was speaking to her in the week and she got she's getting $9,500 from her matrix in a month as well, which I thought was rather good news. It means doesn't matter how you do this business, you're going to win.
Well, persistence, yes. Yeah, Hazel's doing an absolutely wonderful job. And for those of you who don't know who Hazel is, Richard discussed Hazel frequently because she's a grandmother who doesn't leave her home office, and she's built her entire business, believe it or not, she's built her entire business from just chatting with people on Facebook. So it's all been strangers. And I think Hazel's, I can't remember what size of the trade package that she's on, but it would be in the vicinity of about a $50,000 trade package. She's doing very well.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
It's a remarkable story, but yeah.
Lovely ladies. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks very much for sharing that. Because you're right. There are a number of different ways that one may participate on this platform, and all roads, lead to Rome. So depending on how you want to create your success, there's certainly multiple ways to do it.
That's great. Thanks, Roger.
Next question. Chase kindly sent me, there's the new thing in the back office so we can see our teams with the bull and the bear capital, but we can't see our own. We need to get that from our sponsor. Is there plans to put it so we can get a printout of our own front line, do you know?
Oh, you can find that. All you've got to do is go into networks and go into personally referred, and you can find that information there. But you will also, in the new Unilevel viewer that's going to launch at some point, you'll also have all that information at a glance as well.
Right. Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Well, great. Well, guys, we're coming up on an hour here. It has been just exceptional, I'd have to say. I hope you all feel better. I got you in gallery view. If you feel better about CashFX today than when you joined, I think we can all say it's been a value add to be on this call. And John, I just want to thank you again. Your professionalism and your courtesy in explaining and being there for us is just very much appreciated. So look forward to the next time. And again, let's share the CFX project with others, whether you are good at it or not. I mean, Hazel does it on Facebook, and she's genuine and honest. And that's the mark of being really a good person. Is all you need to do is just be honest and forthright, and you'll do well. So John, thanks again so much. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to be here, and enjoy the second half of the week.
Righto. All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Bye, everyone.